I recently saw this story on Instagram and it was so amazing. I had to share it with you guys. So there is this professor who holds up a $20 bill and he asks the students who wants it. And, you know, of course, everybody's like, oh yeah, you know, we're broke. Like $20 bill. Yeah. Right. And then he crushes it in his hand. And then he goes, all right, who still wants it? And then people are like, well, yeah. And then he throws it onto the ground and stomps and crumbles it and on the ground. And all right, now who wants it? And they still want it. And then he smushes it and stomps on it and picks up again. Who still wants it? And then everybody's still like, what is this guy doing? Like, is he for real? Like, is he nuts? Like, yeah, it's 20 bucks. And then he goes, I just taught you all, students, I just taught you all a valuable lesson. There are going to be times in your life where you feel that life has just kicked the shit out of you. It has stomped on you. It has crumbled you to pieces, thrown you in the dirt, and you feel useless. You feel powerless. You feel spent. But the thing is see how you all still, no matter what I did, you all still wanted this $20, right? And they're all like, yeah. And then he's like, remember, whenever life makes you feel these ways, no matter what past mistakes you've made, no matter who you are right now or whatever you go through in the future, you never lose your worth. Always remember your value, just like the value of this $20. And it was like, we need more teachers like that. I am a former teacher, and wrestling, wrestling was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I could have used mentors like that. I could have used teachers like that. I could have used role models like that. We need more people like that. I hope you guys got as much out of that story as I did. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, guys, is fall in love with being underestimated. I was underestimated my whole career. Okay. And honestly, I learned, like, at first I was so offended by it. Like, you know, why don't people see me the same way they see such and such a person? Why do they like this person more than me? Or why do these girls want to support this girl instead of me, even though they know I'm for real? You know, all these different questions you can ask yourselves and whatnot. At the end of the day, being underestimated is to your advantage. It is a superpower. Fall in love with being underestimated, because no matter what, when you're underestimated, they never expect you to win. And that's how you win. All right. The best way to win a rigged game is not to play it. Okay. Come up with your own game. Come up with your own. If people don't want to give you a seat at that table, build your own goddamn table and have a seat. You'll be surprised how many people actually want to sit there once you make your own table. Trust me. Another thing I wanted to do with you guys is something that changed my life, okay? And this is actually going around on social media, and I was so excited about it. But I heard about this somebody sat me down and they were like, you know, we see everything you're going through right now. We see how it's, you know, how it's really affecting you. And that's short term. You got to think long term, because you have so much potential. There's so much that you have to offer. But you've been around so many of the wrong people that made you feel like you were worthless, made you feel like you couldn't achieve anything. They didn't allow you to see your talent. And part of that's your fault and part of that's not, because you allowed those people to have that kind of power over you. And I did. And that's where I always talk about self-accountability, owning your own shizit, you know. And they said, you got yourself out of that environment. Now, what are you going to do with that? That power you've just taken back, what are you going to do with it? And they became a real mentor for me and changed my life, changed my career. And so when I saw the video that was based on what they told me, I was like, I have to share this, especially since it's going around on social media. They said their mentor taught them this, and they achieved pretty much all of their goals from it. And then I did the same thing. And fast forward, I am now a published author. I've been featured in Yahoo Finance, Disrupt Magazine, and more. I have a podcast. I have other opportunities I can't wait to tell you about. All of this stuff was literally on my list. And it took someone sitting me down telling me this, and someone believing in me before I could truly learn how to believe in myself. And I want to do that for all of you. Even if it only helps one person, that's still one person, and that means so much. All right, guys, that's the inspiration for this podcast, after all, is being a part of someone else's survival guide, right? And you never know who that's going to be, but it's still worth it. It matters. So they said, take out a piece of paper. They said, at the top of the paper, write your name, goals, today's date. Then you're going to write down 10 goals that you want to achieve in the next 12 months. And they said, write them in the present tense. What does that mean? I achieve this, whatever that is. I buy such and such. I drive such and such. I earn such and such. I am in such and such. I visit such and such. Whatever those goals are for you, write them in the present tense. Then you're going to do these 7 steps, okay? And I want to make sure I put them in order because I think the order actually helps make sense of this. So you write down the goals. You set the deadline, okay? Then you make a checklist of how to achieve each one, you know, like how to accomplish it, right? Step by step. Then you organize that checklist. Then you take action. And then you make sure you do something towards those lists every day. You'll be surprised what happens in 12 months. Remember, when you set a deadline, that's usually how long it's going to take you. Elon Musk has said this, and many other successful people have said this. If you say it's going to take you 12 months, it'll take you at least 12 months. If you say it's going to take you at least 6 months, it'll take you at least 6 months. So be mindful of your timeline. But as long as you're doing at least one thing towards those goals every single day, you'll be surprised how much happier and how much better off and how a better person you feel like. You feel like you're becoming more of the adult you needed as a child. You're becoming more of your own hero, a better person in society, and a better version of yourself than even you could have dreamed up for yourself. And I'm telling you right now, it changed my life. They sat me down and told me this in late 2018. And guys, after that, I became a published author. I got one of my first books on the Amazon Top 100 list in the children's category. I've done so many things, and it's because of this exact thing. And someone taking the time to say that they believed in me, that they saw me, that I matter, that I have untapped potential, that I wasn't tapping into because I had all this negative noise going on around me and in my head. Now that I took myself out of that environment, what am I going to do with that? I can't get back the time that I wasted on the wrong people or the wrong things and on mistakes and all this other stuff. But I can learn, I can grow, I can own my shizit, take accountability, and kick ass. And that's what I did, and that's what I hope for you. I hope that that's what you want for yourself too. I challenge you to try the 7 steps and see how far you get. There's less than 6 full months left of 2022. How you choose to use that is entirely up to you. And I hope that you take this challenge and see what amazing things happen from it.